Association of Snowsports Instructors and team leader for the team here in Ushuaia. So I've got Pete Gillespie, who's going to give the presentation this evening.
Welcome everybody.
I've got Ali Smith here.
Hi Rob.
Okay, I've got Warren Smith here, putting his hand up. My better half, shown the Tate here. And we've got Vittorio O'Caffey, just Irish.
Adopted him.
We've adopted as well. And we've got a couple of supporters as well, Melinda and Pete's wife Lee. Okay, so that's our entire team of 8. Okay, so, but considering we only had 3 in St Anton and 2 in our Andy Congress previous to that, I think we've done pretty well with 8 here at the bottom of the world. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Pete and let him talk to the topic.
Thank you very much. Derek's the only one with a genuine Irish accent. The rest of us have got Irish links. So we've got Irish families, what have you. So just to explain, if you understand my Cockney tones, you'll wonder where I come from. Okay, so we have 4 levels in the basic system. Sorry, in the British system they have 4 levels. In the IASI system we have 4 levels. It's quite similar and we complement each other. What we tend to do is work in the first 2 levels in the closed environment. By the closed environment, I mean dry ski slopes, or you'll see in a minute some of the snow slopes. We employ in the slope that I run in the UK both BASI instructors and IASI instructors, and also instructors from other parts of the world as well. Generally, we're dealing with kids and beginners. That's pretty much our market. Of course, what we do is we prepare these people for your ski schools, whether it be in Austria or Canada or the southern hemisphere. And then what happens is we create a loop that these people then kind of come back, and we create what we call stickability. So these people are retained within skiing and snowsports. That obviously builds all of our markets. Just click that slide for you there. So Derek's already introduced me, I guess, so I'll just run through quite briefly. So I'm the current chairman of IASI. I'm a level 4 IASI instructor and trainer. I'm also a BASI instructor, a BASI ISTD as well. And I'm the director of one of the indoor facilities, which is actually in the UK, not in Ireland, and I'll explain how that works shortly. So we're far away again. So the closed environments and how they differ, we're going to just kind of have a look now. They're comparing them. So when we're talking about the closed environment, we're sending people into effectively ski hall or dry ski slope. When we're talking about the open environment, we're talking about the mountain environment generally. So if we look at the 2, we can see that obviously when you send people to the mountains, you've got beautiful scenery. You have a cultural experience. So if someone from Ireland or the UK goes over to Austria, they're having a cultural experience. To use that as an example. The weather can be more hostile in the mountains. Obviously, we can control that inside. It can be remote, which is in some respects could be its appeal, because it's nice to be in peace and nature. But equally, it can be remote in terms of getting help. If you need to get assistance, it's obviously not going to be 200 meters away like it is in the closed environment. There's a big variance in terrain in the mountain environment, obviously. Assistance may take time, so we consider that as well. There's lots of space, and generally it's a holiday. People are visiting I'm using the Alps as an example because obviously it's close to where our customers will go, but they go on for a holiday. In the closed environment, rather than a beautiful scenery, it's more of an interesting facility. It's quite an interesting building when you look at these places, especially the modern ones. It's quite a unique experience, especially if you're from a country that doesn't have natural mountains and natural snowfall. It's consistent in terms of the environment inside. We can manage that. So the centre that we run in the UK is about -5. Obviously the outdoor centres, the dry slopes, are subject to the wind and the rain, but you're never more than 200 metres from going back into the building. So you've always got that link with assistance. The terrain is limited. The dry slope, I don't know if any of you have skied, I know some of the basic guys will have skied on dry slopes, but the dry slope will get quicker as it gets wet, but other than that, it stays the same. The indoor environment actually does rut up and get more bumpy. There's not a great deal of space, and we consider it more of an experience rather than, obviously people don't go to the artificial slopes for their holiday. Got some examples here of dry slopes are the ones that are outside. So the one up here is the one in Dublin, just outside Dublin in the Republic of Ireland, and the one here is actually in the UK, it's in Norfolk. So around between Ireland and the UK, there are probably over 100 existing dry ski slopes. These are the closed environment snow slopes. So the one on this side here is the one that I manage and look after. So that's just north of London. And the one in there, some of you may have visited that, I'm not sure, but that's in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai.
Yeah.
So we've been there.
Yeah.
So we went there last year for research, just to see how they create the guest experience. Because we started to understand that we needed to train our instructors to deliver a guest experience that has this loop, so that they go away, enjoy skiing on the snow in the mountain environment, and then come back to us. That way it will sustain your businesses, and obviously it sustains our business as well. So the motivation for our guests in the closed environment are listed here, and there probably are more. So holiday preparation. So these are people that are preparing to go away for a ski holiday. I had the pleasure today to meet Martin here, and he shared a story with me. Funny enough, completely off track from this conversation. We were on a boat on the Beagle Channel. We got talking, and Martin comes from the same village as my mum lives in Austria, so it was quite amazing to bump into someone like that. And we got talking about this presentation. Martin explained he had a friend who gave him an example of, I think it was a lady that learnt on one of the revolving decks, which we also have in the UK and Ireland. And this person then transferred those skills onto the mountains and could parallel ski. She couldn't stop. You told me she couldn't stop. Fundamental, but she could parallel ski. So it shows you that some of the skills are transferable.
And she wasn't able to do long turns, only
Only
short turns.
Yeah, that's quite normal for a close environment. Okay, so holiday preparation. We have also what's called bucket list experience. What we're finding now, I work in delivering experience, obviously. It just happens to be snow is the vehicle for that. There's a lot of people who are just ticking off experiences. I went skiing, I went indoor skydiving, I went rafting. And our market and our instructors have to adapt to be able to deliver an experience. Not everybody is learning to ski for a life skill. Some people just want to have an experience, and it's important that we as instructors understand that as well, so that we can deliver that experience. Group activity, corporate, we would deal a lot with companies that are sending their employees to us just for a kind of refresh or a little bit of team building. Schools is a massive market on the dry ski slopes and also in the indoor slopes. Actually, my wife Lee looks after the schools here, and we probably deal with 200 or 300 schools very, very regularly, coming through the centres. And I know that all the other centres in the UK and Ireland have the same kind of programme. Regular clubs. Obviously, we want to create this word that I'm using, stickability. We want people to go away, have a Snowsports holiday, come back and use us, use our instructors to keep them energised and motivated. And then lifestyle. So we've got examples of people that come to the facilities all year round now. It's part of their lifestyle. Maybe they would have gone to the gym or go swimming, but now they come and use the centres just to keep fit, I guess. So if we look at the challenges versus the opportunities, in the open environment, the learning times are generally longer. So our minimum experience for an adult is normally about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops. In the Alps, obviously, you'll engage with your instructor probably on a course for 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, possibly, just using that as an example, and you're generally there for a week. You may be taking private lessons, but that's just an example. The open environment's got much more space and terrain and choices for the instructor, so the instructor can actually use that as motivation for the guests, so they can take them to nicer places, take them to slopes that are a little bit more suitable. And the tactical mountain skills can be practiced, so things like traversing. It's very difficult to traverse on the indoor and outdoor dry sloping environment, and I'll explain to you why. It's not the task of traversing, that's very simple. It's actually very antisocial in such a small space to have groups of people traversing across when you've got people going down. So we tend not to do too much of that unless the centres are quiet. Things like garlands, terrain techniques, moving people around. We can do that indoors, but they're quite narrow, and it's the same on the dry ski slope. And side slipping, on the dry slope, side slipping needs to be wet and it needs to be steep, otherwise the skis don't slide. And in the indoor environment, the same kind of thing applies. If it's groomed in the morning, we can slip around, but as soon as it gets bumpy, there's one of the skills that we struggle to teach. So it's quite maybe important for you guys to understand that, those of you teaching the mountain environment, because you will accept people from our centres, trained by our instructors, and there may be some little skills that are missing, and that's the reason why. So hopefully that will help you understand that. In the closed environment, the lessons are generally shorter. There can be very little space, especially in a high season. We have the maximum on a typical dry ski centre, 200 metre dry ski centre, will be about 150 on the main slope, so we're having lessons. The same in the indoor. We teach in a goldfish bowl. What I mean by that, I deal a lot with the customer service at the facility that I run, and the nursery slope is in front of you here. You've got big windows, and the parents will sit and watch their children while they have a cup of coffee, and of course they analyse absolutely everything that you're doing, and they analyse it quite often wrong, and they come and tell us we've done it wrong, and look, Johnny's not enjoying himself. And you know that in the mountain environment, when I used to work in the ski school, the parents would drop the kids off, then they'd disappear, and you could get on with your job of teaching the children. Here it's quite difficult, it's very different, because people are watching all the time. So the guest experience will be judged on many touch points as well. So not just on the quality of the instructor, it will be judged on the quality of the website when they made the booking, the quality of how tidy the car park was when they pulled in, the quality of the person that dealt with them at the front the reception. And these are all points that we have to consider, and points that we train into our instructors. So it's not an insular role, they have to be working in a very holistic way. Okay, so what are we here to do? Provide a great and memorable guest experience. That's the foremost of our philosophy. The technical stuff is important, and it's, you know, we need to understand that. We need to be able to teach people, but at the end of the day, people are coming to us to have an experience. That's so important that our instructors understand that when they're delivering sessions. Provide a link between the closed snow sports environment and the open. So that's how we work with the guys that own ski schools. Hopefully, we don't send people over to your ski schools who are then confused because they're being told how to do things a different way. We try and keep our teaching very open. So it's very skill-based rather than nationalistic. There is no the Irish way to ski. We're just working on giving people a great time, getting them moving around. They come over to your ski schools and you can build on that, and then they come back to us, hopefully. The link loops back. And that's when I talk about the people coming back. If the people have had a great time, they want to continue with snow sports, they come back into our environment, and obviously that sustains our business as it does yours, because obviously they get better, they get more enthusiastic, and they book next year to come back to your ski school. We create compatible environments encouraging regular participation. So that's really important to us that people start to use this, and I'll use that word again. Stickability is one of our key drivers, and it's one of the things that we train our instructors in understanding. So that loop retains interest. So due to being all year round facilities, the opportunities are no longer seasonal. So you can ski on an artificial centre almost every day of the year, and if I just use the one that I happen to manage as an example, it's only closed one day of the year, and that's Christmas Day. So it's generally open from the weekend, it'll be open from 8 and it will run through to 10. So the opportunities, the hours are huge. Obviously, and that gives instructors opportunity to work as instructors as well, because there's a huge amount of time that the facilities are running. Instructors and coaches get to build a long-term coaching relationship. So obviously in a holiday situation, it's quite difficult because you're only there for a week, and actually you might return next year, and some of the instructors may have changed. So this way we get to build that continuity. And for the overall growth of snow sports, the closed environment gives people access to a starting point. So we spoke earlier on about the sort of bucket list. I just want to give it a go. If we could retain those people by giving great service and by giving them a great experience, then the bucket listers we turn into customers, and obviously the snow sports industry grows. Our industry back home has actually grown in the last couple of years rather than shrunk. So how do we try to achieve this when we train our instructors in IASI? We promote a skills-based system, not a national style, as I said earlier on. IASI recognise our guests will interact with many different instructors in many different environments and nationalities. So we prepare people to take further coaching and tuition from, we have like 30 odd nations here, and any one of those could be the next line of coaching for our customers, could be any one of those nationalities. IASI training is focused on the guest experience, as I've said to you already. That's so important to us, that we train our instructors to deliver an experience so that people fall in love with snow sports and we create fans. And that's our aim. Our aim is to create snow sport fans. If I want to teach skiing, I need people to teach skiing. I need customers. Those customers, if they're fans, are likely to keep returning. And what I'll show you next as well is how we measure people's experience so that we can continue to build that base. So creating fans out of guests. We aim to provide amazing service and an experience that makes the guests want to continue to return. We prepare our guests for the transition from closed to open environments, so we create that loop. We leave our guests with a moment of magic, inspiring them to continue with snow sports. And that's really important. That can be what I call top and tailing the experience. Signing their cards, giving them advices to the next level, preparing them for their holiday, asking them where they're going and trying to give them some information on that destination if you know that. Being interested in our customers creates that moment of magic. So whether you like it or not, our actions will create 3 outcomes. So we can create moments of misery, and when we create moments of misery, we create detractors. And these are people that don't particularly like what we are delivering, they don't like our product, and actually what detractors do is they tell everybody. So these are TripAdvisor, Facebook, these kind of guys. And that's become very powerful. When I first started training as a ski instructor, the kind of mantra training was, if you give someone a bad experience, they'll tell 10 people. These days, if you give someone a bad experience, they'll tell 10,000 people because they've put it on TripAdvisor. Neutral moments are just not very inspirational. I'm sure you've all had service before which was neutral, so you wouldn't shout about it. You're not going to complain, but equally you're probably not going to return. They're actually the most dangerous in terms of retention of customers because they don't tell you. If they don't tell you, you can't do anything about it. They're just pissed off basically. They don't come back. And moments of magic creates promoters. So promoters are extensions to your marketing team. So these are people that are going out and telling people what a fantastic experience they've had with their instructor. And I think what you find with promoters is the experience has become emotional now. I'll explain what I mean by that. If I'm going to recommend my mum to a restaurant, I better make sure it's good. So I'm not going to do that unless I'm 100% sure. And that link with creating fans and creating promoters creates a very powerful marketing tool. Thanks. So the way in which we measure our satisfaction, I'm just using our centre as an example now, is we survey people and we effectively put them into these brackets. And this is used worldwide. It's called NPS, Net Promoter Scoring. Effectively, if someone scores you between 1 and 4, they're detracting. They're basically the people that are probably going to be putting on TripAdvisor or Facebook or want to see the manager, I'm not happy about this. If people score you between 5 and 7, then we're in the passive bracket. That's actually probably the biggest bracket. People who they weren't particularly inspired, they're not going to bother to complain, but they're probably not going to. But they're not going to promote you. They're not going to tell anyone that you must go to that facility or book that instructor or go to that ski resort. And then if people are scoring you 8 to 10, it's an extension to your marketing team. These are people that actually love what you do. They're going out and they're telling everyone. They're the people that are putting on Facebook the polar opposite. I had a great time today skiing with my instructor at this facility. Okay. So the goal, the way we train our instructors and our philosophy is to leave everybody with obviously a moment of magic. Every guest should leave an experience with an IASI instructor, whether in the open or closed environment, having had a great time, memorable experience and want to return, because that feeds all our business. Guest experience should be blend the learning with any snow sports school in the world. So we should be able to train our people to go and work with other instructors and not create conflicts. Every guest becomes a snow sport fan, and that has to be the ultimate goal of the snow sport industry, because we are trying to create business for all of us so we can stay in business and sustain our industries. If you have any questions, I know the basic guys have got their presentation, so I don't want to kind of hog the time, but if you have any questions that are short, please ask, or I will be around for the rest of the week. Happy to answer questions. Please.
Do you run certification courses indoors?
Yes, level 1, which is to teach in this environment, we will run indoors, yeah. Then level 2 would go into the mountain environment. The majority of the instructors that work in the closed environment will hold level 1, level 2 qualifications, and it's their hobby, really. Hey guys. Oh, sorry.
How many indoor and outdoor snow or non-snow facilities do you have in Ireland?
In Ireland we have 3 dry ski slopes, one in the south, one in Dublin, one in the north, and then we have the carpets, the rolling carpets as well. In the UK they have 6 indoor snow slopes and 100.
There's 2 rolling carpets now in Ireland.
2 rolling
one in
carpets.
Dublin, one in the
so,
north.
so it's expanding a bit.
Okay. That's cool.
Thanks for your time, guys. Hope you found it interesting. I'm happy to fire the slides off to you on an email if anyone wants to read through those again. Hand over to the basic guys. Thank you.